Welcome to our ongoing program of Christian faith and medicine. Today we have amazing guests who's going to be here with her daughter. This is Tanya, who was faced with the difficult prospect of having an abortion. Welcome, Tanya. And I understand that Lily Rose will be joining us in a few minutes. The first question is going to be asked by my wife, Marissa.
Hi, Tanya. Hi, we're so happy that you're here with us today.
I'm glad to be here.
Tell me your story about the situation of how you became pregnant.
It's when I met a man on the internet. We really had a great connection. We had the same values and everything. So I thought that he would be a great man to do my life.
And so, that's it. I moved in with him. When he found out I was pregnant, things changed. Although even before that, when I moved in, things had already started to shift.
Okay.
The relationship was unstable, even, I would say, a bit dysfunctional. And then, when I got pregnant, for him it was clear he didn't want a child. And from my side, he knew I was against abortion. And he also claimed to be against abortions. So obviously,
it was really hard.
So he was against abortion, but
he was ready to
have, for you to take that step to have an abortion.
Oui.
So he was conflicting. His views were conflicting anyways, but
yes, because he said, in the end, since I was taking medication for ADHD, I had started smoking again, though I had quit. I had quit once I was pregnant without knowing I was. I thought I had COVID, but actually I was pregnant.
Oh, wow.
It just happened naturally.
Wow.
And then, when I saw that he wanted nothing to do with it, and with the overall situation in society during the pandemic, it was all uncertain, and I was uncertain in every aspect of my life, professionally. And then I was living with him, which meant I had to move out, start over from scratch. I had a lot on my mind.
So
that's when I decided, against my will, to start the abortion process.
And what did he say when you told him that you were going to keep the pregnancy? What was his reaction?
He was kind of, well, definitely distant. And me, to justify myself, I told him, don't worry, I won't ask you for anything. I said, I'm doing this for her. Also, for my values. I want to have peace of mind. When I decided to keep the child,
Yes.
I offered him an agreement, and he said we could sign a document saying,
to not ask for child support. And I said, of course, I don't care about that.
And what was his reaction to that when you said, I'm not going to ask you for child support?
Perfect.
Wow.
Okay.
Perfect. He was ready to come with me at the abortion.
To go to the abortion clinic, he was going to accompany you there.
Yeah, but not the other steps.
To keep the baby.
Right.
Yeah. What I think is that he wanted to come with me just to make absolutely sure that I went through with the abortion.
Uh-huh. Wow.
So you decided that you were going to have an abortion because you just what brought you to the point where you thought you would have an abortion, even though it went against your values? And first you wanted to keep the baby, he didn't want you. So what persuaded you to go towards abortion?
The lack of resources. I grew up in foster care. I don't have parents. It was complicated at the time with some close family members. For those still alive, I'm talking about siblings. And I also didn't want my daughter to grow up in a world that's insensitive. Because I really had this deep sadness when I was living in the Beauce region. I found people to be indifferent.
They were cold.
So people around you didn't support you, like your
Oh, well, I hadn't even told them I
okay,
was
you didn't tell them you
pregnant.
were pregnant.
Because I was ashamed of being pregnant at 38 because I was 38 at the time, and also because I was still in a relationship that, well, I wouldn't call it stable.
Mm-hmm. So having an unstable relationship, being 38 and you felt you were an older mom.
Yes, and also the idea of starting over from scratch, moving out, furnishing a place again.
Some furnitures because I sold everything when I moved with that guy.
And of course, there was also the lack of support. When you have no family, I found it heartbreaking to have a child alone, with no one around.
Because you lived in a different city or town,
Yeah.
so you really didn't know many people, I imagine, because of COVID. So you were really feeling alone.
Yeah,
and
alone.
you felt that you really didn't have much of a choice.
Okay. That's it, yeah.
Tell us what happened, the process of you going towards the abortion. What happened? Tell us the steps.
Okay, well, at first I took an appointment. And I met this nurse. She gave me papers to explain how it works, les étapes.
The steps for an abortion, the different methods, either by medication or by surgical aspiration. Then, after that appointment, I read the documents.
That really troubled me.
Mm-hmm.
What troubled you on these documents?
Or their words?
The way it's done. Like when you take medication,
you're alone at home, and you basically give birth to your child. And then they don't even tell you what to do with the body. To them, you just flush it.
Wow.
That didn't make sense. It
Wow.
was really, really hard.
And then surgical aspiration, that's not any better. You're literally sucking out a life. Then, the next day after that appointment, I had the dating ultrasound. And that was a total shock. I remember lying down and asking the staff if I could see the monitor. They refused.
Then I asked if I can hear the heartbeat. They didn't want it to.
But at that point, were you still considering abortion, or were you kind of playing with the idea that you maybe wanted to keep the baby? What were your thoughts at that point?
It was still the abortion.
Okay.
Puis après ça, je voulais savoir.
But I wanted to know how far along I was in the pregnancy. And they refused to tell me. They said it would be the doctor later who would give me that information. I replied, but I'm consenting to receive information about my own situation.
Mm.
So they didn't want to divulge any information, as little as possible. They did everything to
They were
block you.
cold.
Yeah.
And after that, I was shaken all over again. I cried. I cried my heart out. The whole way, from Shawinigan to Trois-Rivières, I just cried. Tears poured out of me. I prayed. I called out to the Lord. I said, "Guide me."
Mm.
I said, "I can't believe I'm about to go through with this." I said, "Do something. Find a way. There has to be another way. I can't make it through all of this."
What was the point? So at that point, you were praying, you had severe doubts. What was the moment when you said, "No, I'm not going to have the abortion. I'm going to keep this baby"?
But after
Yes.
that night, because really, I had my ultrasound on February 9th, and the next morning, there was this word I couldn't get out of my head, TheoVox, over and over. I remembered that during the pandemic, I'd listened to a few episodes of TheoVox, and there had been one about abortion. And there was Georges.
George Buscemi, yes.
Yes, from Quebec Life Coalition. And I thought, maybe they'd know of some resources. So I called them. Actually, just before that, I'd gotten a call from a social worker to confirm my decision, to make sure, that the choice to get an abortion wasn't being made by my partner. So I said, okay. I agreed to have the phone call. And then at some point she asked me, "What are your reasons for wanting an abortion?" So I explained my situation. I told her I didn't have much of a network, no real support, financial or material, nothing. And after that, she said, "Well, it sounds like you more or less know what you want." I also told her my relationship was unstable, but she didn't offer me any alternatives. She just said, "Don't worry about the abortion. You wouldn't be the first I see in this office, and you won't be the last." And I said, "That doesn't help me." I said, "That goes against my values." I said, "It's inconceivable to me." I said, "This doesn't help I'm not at peace with my conscience. I can't believe there are no other options." And then she just repeated my situation back to me.
So they were really using your social situation, your relationship that wasn't supportive. You were basically financially strapped. I understand you work with young people. You're an intervener in society, so you've seen other women who are struggling. You also said you came from a family. You weren't raised by your parents. You had your grandmother. And you didn't want this situation for your daughter, and you're worried financially. But they didn't tell you what resources were available to you. They just told you that you're not in a good social situation. Therefore,
I don't even know if they know if there is
resources.
Why?
I don't even know if the staff is aware that there are other alternatives to abortion.
So that's what they're focused on. Abortion. They'll find reasons to justify for your age, which is very young. 38 is very young, and the difficulties that you were encountering. Right. They didn't tell you there were any alternatives to help you. They really weren't focused on that. It was like, this is the road you're down. Other women have done this. This is a good choice for you.
And all of that, it all happened on the same day. The meeting, the phone call with the social worker. But that morning, the morning of that day, which was the day after my ultrasound, I had written to TheoVox. I asked for help, asked if they knew of any other resources or anything. I'd say they were kind of my last hope.
So they gave you a little bit of help. There was some hope, because from watching this program, you saw that they were against abortion, and the person who directed it was there. And so
And also, Yes, hope about that, but also about humanity. Because I've been disappointed many times in life by people who claim to be kind, but in the end, they're not. Just like our social programs, really. Let's not kid ourselves. And then I told myself, I said, please, Lord, please let them answer. Let them do something. Something that will truly help me. I said,
You felt it was like your last hope.
Yeah. Yeah.
That if they didn't come back to you, because and you wrote to them by email.
Yeah.
And what was the response?
they answered me that same day after I had my phone call with the social worker. And I thought, okay, wow. They told me there are other alternatives. Abortion isn't the only option. They said, let's take some time to meet, to talk on the phone, to speak directly, to communicate, and we'll see what we can do.
So at that point,
After that, I immediately called the clinic because the abortion was already scheduled for the 17th.
how many days from the time that you spoke to TheoVox? What was the time between the time you spoke to them and you communicated and that you were going to have the abortion? What was the period of time?
There was, I think, about a week left.
About a week.
Yes,
So the life of your future baby was saved by a week
Right.
time. That's amazing.
It's
What a
very
beautiful
amazing.
story.
truly, truly.
Very amazing.
So you're happy about your decision.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
And are we going to be seeing your daughter?
Her name is Lily Rose.
Oui, Lily Rose.
How old is she now?
She's 2 years old.
2 years old.
Right.
Yes,
Full of joy.
Yeah. Healthy.
Beautiful.
Right.
and you know, sometimes I tell myself, if God hadn't wanted me to have this child, I would have had a miscarriage.
That's right.
But I didn't. And on top of that, I was a smoker. And naturally, the taste for cigarettes, I just didn't want them anymore. And I didn't even know I was pregnant at that time.
So you had when you became pregnant, you didn't know it. You didn't want to smoke anymore. Your body just told you naturally
Stop.
not to smoke. Yes.
It's amazing.
I believe deep down,
I think that God used Lily Rose, my daughter, to save me.
Wow, that's amazing.
Can you explain that?
before that, I was just living for work. I've always worked in helping professions, but I was so disheartened seeing how limited we were in the help we could actually offer.
Wow.
And it broke my heart. I went to therapy many times because of that. I would think, this is insane. We could do so much more. But I'm always being told, oh, well, that's not your job. That belongs to someone else. Why are we passing the buck? Why can't we just work together? It was always complicated. And I think that's it. I didn't really have. There was nothing really tying me to life, let's say.
Were you very depressed? Did you ever think of ending your life?
A lot of times. A lot of times.
Do you think you would have acted on that at some point?
I always believed in God.
Yes.
So I wanted to respect the fact that He gave me life. But at the same time, I was so angry with Him. I'd ask, why are you keeping me alive? Why don't you come get me? I know I can't take my own life, but at the same time, you're not making it easy for me. And when I was going through the abortion process, I said to the Lord, If I go through with it, if I have the abortion, then I'm done.
Oh my.
I said, if I'm going to have blood on my hands, on my conscience, I might as well.
Had that question, like, even like, had you ever thought, oh, if ever I get pregnant, I might consider an abortion?
No.
It was totally out of your, not something you ever thought you would be facing, basically.
Absolutely not.
No. Especially not at 38.
So why do you think women choose abortions? What's your, based on your experience, on what you've seen, speaking to friends?
Lack of support. It's having a child is
It changes your life.
Mhm.
Yes.
It's a complete gift of self. So I think some people find it really hard.
How can I say?
If we give the people supports,
What are the supports? What are things of support that you think are needed or you would have appreciated?
A family. A family. People who are there to help. Materially.
When you gotta restart, rebuild your life.
Even a babysitter sometimes. But also someone to talk to.
not to be isolated.
Moral support. Family support.
Community, a whole community,
Community.
yeah.
Community.
And community support, and that could be friends, it could be family, it could be the church community.
Yes, absolutely. What helped me was meeting TheoVox. When I met them, I joined their house church.
Mhm.
I said to myself, okay, I want to shine like they do.
Mhm.
Wow.
I want that for my daughter, too. And I could see the difference. They weren't just praying to pray. It was a real relationship with the Lord. That's when my whole relationship with God changed. When I met these Christians, just Nancy and Jeff from TheoVox, they really helped me.
So
They helped me move with people from the church. They didn't even know me. They even took me in. Imagine letting a stranger live with you.
So you got real
got
support. You
support.
got housing support. They helped you to move.
Nancy even came with me for the delivery. She's the one who cut Lily's umbilical cord.
Wow.
Beautiful.
She's like an aunt, and he's like an uncle.
That's beautiful.
And other people from church are really close to her, too.
That's
It's
beautiful.
interesting because even the pro-abortion movement, then there's a study done by Guttmacher in 2005, why women have abortions. And this is a group that supports and wants to encourage women to have abortions. But when you look at it, the majority of women do it because of lack of financial, educational, job. And if you put it all together, it's probably over 90% combined. Women don't want to have the abortion, and if you look at other studies, most of them regret having abortions once they have it, but they lack supports, financial, educational, and
Financial, it's
Definitely. Childcare costs, housing, everything's more expensive. When you're alone, yes. But when you trust God, it's incredible what He does.
He changes things. Your personal faith in Jesus, when you reach out to Jesus, He opens up doors. And He opens up doors not just through the spiritual realm, but also gives you practical
Yes.
Right, definitely.
supports. So I like to see Lily
Lily?
Rose. Yeah. So we're going to get her, and then you can tell us a little bit about Lily Rose and what
Okay.
she means to you.
This is Lily Rose. Let me introduce you to my beautiful Lily. How old are you, sweetie? Can you show me with your fingers?
Yay.
Bravo. So what would you say to a woman that would be in the same predicament as you when you had to face the situation?
Well, I would like that woman to meet my daughter and to see how beautiful she is
She is beautiful.
and how lovable.
I would explain to her, well, my story, and I'd tell her that there are resources out there. It's just that, in the medical field, they don't mention them. There are no posters either. It's about different alternatives, the different resources that exist. But yeah, I would also tell her to meet people from the church. I found them amazing. That's where I got my support, my help, and that's it. But also, it's important to see that yes, sometimes it can be hard, but it's worth it. It gives life real meaning.
Hope
Yes.
and joy.
Thank you,
Right.
Tanya. It's a beautiful
Vraiment.
story. We really appreciate your being here with Lily Rose, and God bless you, and God continue to give you health and your daughter health and long lives, and provide you all the resources you need. And thank you for being
Thank you.
hope and inspiration to many mothers who are faced with difficult situations, but there's hope.
Yes, there is.
And,
Yeah.
and this is Lily Rose's example of that hope. Thank you so much.
Thank
welcome.
you.